There's a variety of issues, but the number one theme that I'm getting feedback from as I talk to the voters is the difficulty with dealing with the cost of living in Stamford, especially for seniors and the retirees. It's a bit of a struggle to stay in Stamford and in Fairfield County after having lived there for a generation and raising families there and now being retired. People are worried about whether they can stay. They want to stay, most of them, but they're feeling the pressure. We just instituted the largest tax increase in the history of the state of Connecticut, so I don't think that raising taxes would be a good idea. In Stamford, I think the reimbursement from the state for the education cost sharing grant is $600 per student, and I think we're in the studio in Norwalk here today. I think Norwalk is getting $2,000 or $3,000. So it's not fair to the city of Stamford. The formula is based on the value of the grand list, and Stamford does have a lot of valuable property, but Stamford is a diverse city, so it doesn't fit properly into the ECS formula, and therefore Stamford is consistently shortchanged with the ECS formula. And I think our state reps need to do a better job to remedy that unfairness. And you do hear them say it time and time again. It comes up almost every election because I think there is a serious flaw in the formula when it comes to Stamford. Every child should have the availability or the opportunity to participate in these early childhood programs. All the studies would show that the earlier you begin to educate the child, the better the chance they have going on. I don't think that mandates from Washington or from Hartford or heavy-handed standards and are the best way to go. I would be more in favor of local control for our schools. Of course, there's a place for testing and for accountability, but I think you could go too far to the extreme, and I think it's unfair to the teachers. It takes longer now to get to Grand Central from Stamford than it did 100 years ago. It's incredible. The proper amount has not been invested over time to maintain the infrastructure, especially of the Metro North. It's a huge issue for Stamford. Stamford depends on commuters, and there's a proposal now to radically redevelop the Stamford Transportation Center. I think there's some huge problems with that program. It's a Connecticut Department of Transportation initiative. It would impact parking. There's a 2-year waiting list for parking for the Stamford Commuter Garage now, and this plan would actually decrease the parking spots and move them further away from the tracks, which would continue to inconvenience Stamford's commuters. It's so important to our district and to Stamford that development be done properly.